Good morning. Happy Sunday. Happy Oscar Sunday. I have the day off. I woke up and started doing a little bit of cleaning. That was kind of like the goal today, to do a little bit of cleaning, straightening up. I'm always cleaning and straightening up. Like, that's something that I let fall by the wayside during the week. And then like when I have a day off, I'm like, I need to straighten up. So I did that a little bit this morning. I still have way more to do, way more to do, but I will take a beat and try and figure out like what I want to do today. I definitely wanted to straighten up a bit. I definitely am going to work more on my diamond painting. Last time I had a day off, I literally spent the whole day doing the diamond painting, so I might do that. I also started A Spark of Light by Jodi Picoult, and y'all, I'm in a reading slump. Like, nothing has like kept my interest for about a month now. I've read a bit in February, and then March started and I picked a bunch of books. I was reading Native Son, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna read these big fantasy books. Nothing has stuck. I started reading Just Friends. Like, nothing has stuck. Nothing has stuck. Not that the books aren't good. Native Son is good. Just Friends is also good. But I don't know. I don't know what's happening. A slump is upon us. But I started this book. I got this book in the library, I think last week. And I started this and I love it. Like, it's very accessible. The writing is very good. Oh no, did I not put my bookmark in last night? I didn't. I definitely am on page, like, I feel like I got to page 1. That woman, yeah. Wait, I got pretty far. Oh, I put a little dog here. I didn't even realize. Okay, I'm on page 148. And I started this yesterday, okay? And I'm on 148. I'm this much in. This is the first book in a long time where I'm like, oh, I want to go home and read. Like, that has not happened in a very long time. I'm gonna go home and read, or oh, I want to wake up and read, and that has not happened in a while. I want to see how far I can get in that today. I'd love to finish it, but I also want to work on my diamond painting. And while I do my diamond painting, I'm listening to my audiobook. I'm listening to The Will of the Many, which is like 28 hours. And I told myself, okay, I'm gonna listen to this while I diamond paint and see like if I can do 28 hours of diamond painting, 28 hours of listening to the audiobook. I feel like that's kind of like what I like to do. I like to diamond paint, listen to the audiobook, or if there's like a show I need to watch, I'll watch my show and listen to and do my diamond painting. But I think this morning, well, it's almost the afternoon, it's almost 12. That's how late I was waking up. This afternoon, I think I'm going to do some diamond painting. I want to finish this section and then start working on this section. And then I'll see how I feel, if I want to like continue or read or whatever. But honestly, like, I wonder if I could finish this today. That would be awesome, actually, to finish this today. Then I can start on either one of my bigger ones, my Big Michaels ones, or one of the ones I got from Five Below. My next trip to get a diamond painting is going to be to Hobby Lobby, because Hobby Lobby has like canvases. It seems like they have a lot from what I've seen on TikTok. about to be the afternoon. It's 11:43. I picked up my laundry. I just got food. I'm so hungry. I did a little workout. I read this morning. I got up at like 8 something, and I sometimes when I get up and it's like not 9, or it's like, okay, I don't necessarily want to start the day just yet, I will read in bed. So I have been reading Small Great Things, and this might just turn into like a Jodi Picoult reading vlog, because I don't know what it is about her books, but like right now her books are the only things that are like really keeping me interested. I read A Spark of Light. That was one of the last books I read, besides Margot's Got Money Troubles. But A Spark of Light, I flew through that because I was like just so engrossed. And then Small Great Things is a little bit thicker, and I'm not flying through it as fast as I was the other one, but I'm realizing the books that she writes all tackle all these like tough issues. So A Spark of Light is about an abortion clinic and abortion rights and women's rights and all of that. This is about racism, and just racism, one in the medical field, white supremacy, and just racial inequities, just like all having to do with race. This book almost like tough to read some of the parts, because you follow Ruth, who is a nurse, and she's a labor and delivery nurse, and she's Black, and she's damn good at her job, okay? But of course, I don't even know what time period this is. You know, like I don't even think it matters, honestly. This book was written in 2016. Some of the parts are hard to read. So you follow Ruth, who's a labor and delivery nurse. You get Turk, who is a white supremacist. And then we started following a new character, Kennedy. And I want to say that she is probably a lawyer, a defense attorney. We don't have much from her yet, because she's just kind of come into the story. But basically this story follows Ruth, and one day she is at work and she is going in to do the check of like a baby, like she's doing her job like she's supposed to. And Turk and his wife Britt, she goes to like carry the baby, do like some checks on it or whatever. And they're like, don't touch my baby. And they're like, and she's like, huh? She's like, this is part of the, like, I have to do this. This is like the normal check that we do. And they were like, I don't want a Black person touching my baby. Both of them. And she's like, okay. And so then they put like a little note in their file saying, I don't want anyone African-American like handling my baby. So you're like, what the fuck? So then the next day, the baby goes into cardiac arrest, and Ruth is there because the other nurses are tied up. One is with like a C-section, and then the other one, I don't know I forgot what happened to her. But they're like, can you just watch her? And Ruth is like, what the hell do I do? Because I'm literally not supposed to even be around this baby. So then the baby goes into cardiac arrest while she's there. And she doesn't do anything, because she's like, they literally told me not to touch the baby. But then she was standing there, and then the other nurse comes in and is like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm doing nothing. Like, that's what I was told to do. Then eventually all the other nurses come in, they try and start resuscitating the baby. The baby does not make it, okay? And now she's being charged with murder, that she like murdered this baby. And they're blaming her, like the family blaming her, saying that like she's the cause of this baby's death. And in her mind, she's like, well, if I would have acted sooner, maybe the baby would have been alive. But also I was told not to touch this baby. So she's really in a really, really hard place. I feel like she's literally stuck between a rock and a hard place, because obviously her job is to take care of babies. But if this family is like, I don't want you touching my baby, she's like, well, then fine. I'm not even supposed to be here. So I don't want to even touch your baby. That's fine. So it's like, what do you do? You know? And things aren't looking great for her, which is making me so frustrated, because I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and it's scary reading the point of view from Turk, because like you find out like how he got into being a white supremacist. And there's a quote in here that says like, all children are born like innocent. It's what we like project onto them that makes them, you know, not. And it's true. Like, as Turk was growing up, he was like indoctrinated into this like white supremacy group and family and all of that. And then he found a wife that was in it. And so it was just like a whole thing. Like, so he's grown up his whole life with that. Ruth is like, well, maybe if I would have acted quicker, the baby would have been alive. But also, she was also given an order to not touch the baby. So it's just like such a conundrum. And I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. now we're getting more points of views from Kennedy, who is a lawyer, because the lawyer needs to come in because the family is obviously going to sue the hospital, and the freaking lawyer throws her under the bus. Not Kennedy, another lawyer, the hospital lawyer, definitely throws Ruth under the bus, which is really fucked up. And it's crazy because there's a lot of microaggressions being done by like the other nurses towards Ruth, and Ruth will take like a look and be like, definitely that was like a look for this, and the other nurse is like, well, maybe that wasn't intentional. And it's like, Ruth is like, you don't understand, like as a black person, like, you know. And she's just like nobody's really believing her. Like people, I think, feel like people think she's overreacting, or it's like maybe it wasn't intentional. And it's like, she's like, no, I'm being targeted because I'm black. And like people that are not black don't understand that. Like the people that work with her don't understand that. It's clear, like the family is clearly racist. Like they are white supremacists. They are white supremacist family. The freaking guy has a swastika tattooed on his head. Like what are the other nurses not understanding about that? Like really? Like you're gonna deny your child medical care because of your racism? Turn it on. Turn it on, okay? Ruth's ability to do the job well has nothing to do with her race. So the way that Turk thinks, and I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. But anyway, I'm loving this book. I really love Jodi Picoult. I have another book by her called 19 Minutes, and this is about, I want to say like a school shooting or school violence, and the font is way smaller though, so I decided to pick up this one instead because the font was a little bit bigger, not very much bigger. The other ones I've read by her are The Pact, which is about a suicide pact between these two kids. One kid does it and one kid doesn't, and there's a whole thing with that. And then I've read My Sister's Keeper, and that's about a girl who was basically born to be there if her sister needs any organs or anything like that, because her sister is chronically ill, and like it's a whole thing. They changed the ending of the movie, so we don't really talk about that. Oh, I saw Slanted yesterday, speaking of racism, and it's such an interesting film because basically Slanted is like, it's about this Asian woman who is Asian girl, she's a teenager, I believe she's Chinese, and she hates being Chinese. She wants to be white, and the America that she lives in is just bombarding her with America whiteness, all of that. And so she hates herself, she hates her Chinese self. So she finds this company, Ethnos, and they do like racial modification or ethnic modification, I think it's called. They literally change her from her to literally a white woman. The actress playing the white woman is McKenna Grace. So they literally changed from the Chinese actress to literally McKenna Grace, which is like, what? It's more like body horror because things don't go well. At first they do, and then things start to, they say, oh, your original face always fights back. And it was just so interesting because the way that like the internalized hate, and like her parents, I felt bad for her parents because her parents are like, oh, we didn't realize that you hated yourself that much, basically, that it was that bad. And she's like, the parents were sweet because they're like, also her dad was so cute. Her dad was so cute. But basically they grew up in China, and so she's like, we grew up in China, we came to America when we were 30. So they're like, they've only been there for 10 years, so we already knew we were Chinese, is what they say. And she's like, you grew up here, so like you haven't accepted that you are Chinese. Dad works as a cleaner to this like white family, and like it's just so, it's all about race and self-hate, I feel like. And I don't feel like a lot of people like the movie, and people are comparing it to Get Out, which I don't think it's like Get Out. I understand the comparisons, but it's very different, I think. And it was just such a weird concept, but I felt like they really went there. Like the director of the film, like, and the screenwriter, like, I felt like the way that they posed like America and like whiteness, the whole tagline is like, isn't it great to be white? And like, I'm like, that's what it feels like when you're like inundated with whiteness. Like when I grew up, mainly all of the people you see in magazines are thin white women with straight hair. When I was younger, I wanted straight hair like so bad. I did not want my hair at all, and I remember wanting to be white. And I remember they wrote a letter home to my mom when I was younger saying, Cherie was saying she wants to be white and this. And it was like a whole thing. I would never say anything like that now, but that took me a long time. Growing up in America as a person of color is just a wild experience, can be a wild experience. So I understood like where the girl was coming from, and I felt like the directors and writers just like went for it. Like they just did not shy away from anything, and I thought that was really spectacular to kind of just see that. And it was just pretty on the nose. Like it wasn't like, it's like there's no metaphors. Like this is what this movie's about, and it's on the nose, and this is what you're getting, this is what you see, what you're getting. So I found it to be quite interesting. But I also watched Project Hail Mary last Monday. I liked it. I didn't like the book, so I have mixed feelings. I thought the movie did a great job at like translating the book, because the things that I didn't like about the book were not in the movie. That is a very hard science book, and I definitely took it in the wrong format. I've heard that the audiobook is fantastic, and maybe I will give it another try on audiobook. Who knows? But I physically read it with my eyes, and I was like, this book is so boring. I did a whole Interstellar video where I read Project Hail Mary. This was like last year, and I just was like, this book is so boring. But I did find the movie interesting, and I would want to see it again in IMAX. I saw it in Dolby, which Dolby is my preferred format, but I do feel like there were some scenes that maybe the screen would have been bigger and wider that would have looked better on IMAX. So I may go do that. We'll see. But I definitely thought that Ryan Gosling's good casting. I thought that the movie was really well done. I heard that they didn't use any green screens, which was amazing, and I love a space movie anyway, so I had a lot of fun. I thought it was good. I thought the music was really good. I thought the acting was really good. Like it was just a fun kind of sciencey movie. I think it's a science movie for the masses, because if they put all that science shit in that movie, it would have been boring, and which is why I feel like people think Oppenheimer is boring, because Oppenheimer is a very science heavy film. I love it, but it's a very science heavy film, so I feel like a lot of people think that movie is boring. I think that movie is fantastic, but I think that this movie kind of focused more on like him as a person and the friendship between him and Rocky and trying to save the world and stuff like that. So it's focused on different things. I think that was a great choice. So yeah, it was fun. So I'm gonna go eat because I'm hungry, and then I think I want to watch Andre is an Idiot today. I'm gonna hopefully try and get a ticket for that, and then we get to go to work. Home. Oh my god, I have like, I don't even have any full lights on. I have my little, not like the hatch clock, I have like the sunset alarm, and I have like these like fake candles by my TV, and it's enough light to like illuminate me on this video. That's pretty cool. I'm home from work today. I had 3 Q&As, and towards the end I got so tired. I don't know why, but I got so tired. Like during the last Q&A, I was like about to fall asleep. I'm so happy I'm home. I'm gonna watch The Pit. Like I remembered that I was waiting for the train. I remembered that there was a new episode of The Pit last night. Oh, so excited. So excited. Over halfway done with my book, with Small Great Things, and it's it's definitely, I like it, but I'm like I've said before, it's like so hard to read and scary to read the Turk chapters, because I'm like, bro, this is not good, not okay. And reading the Kennedy chapters are interesting because I feel like, you know, she's a lawyer and she has to make decisions based on like what she knows, and obviously her job is to get the person that she's defending like acquitted, you know, like that's her job. And so we know that race is playing a huge part in this trial and this like accusation, but Kennedy doesn't want Ruth to bring up race in court. I don't know, I feel like it's making Kennedy really rethink like her ideas about race and just like her upbringing and whatnot. And I think that that's very interesting. I think that like any conversations about race, when people are willing to listen, can be very insightful and really just kind of like, I've been in many conversations about race, especially during 2020, and they can be a bit exhausting, but if you're speaking with people who are willing to listen, then they can be productive. But this book is good. It's heavy, definitely. It's really heavy. Yeah, I'm so tired. I'm so tired, but I'm so excited to watch the pit. Today's workout, Jane Fonda. This was literally my favorite workout when I was younger. My mom and I used to do this workout. Oh, this is the best. Are you excited? Good morning. I've been listening to the Top 2000s playlist on Spotify, giving me life in the morning, okay? While I'm drinking my pre-workout, I will update you because I finished, I don't have the book with me, I left it at work. I finished Small Great Things and I gave it a 4.5, and the only reason I gave it a 4.5 is because that part when I was confused. That we were seeing the same from like the same scene from two different points of view. I was so confused. And then also the ending, not that I didn't like the ending, I did like the ending, but I can't talk about the ending because then like it'll ruin the book, obviously. Things were, you know, tied up, we're good. Well, okay, I can't say anything about that ending, but the ending was, I almost didn't buy the ending for one of the characters. I know that happened. I know that that's a real thing, but I almost didn't buy the ending. I think that was my problem. And I don't know if that's me being cynical or whatever, but I loved the book. The way she talked about race and the three characters that she followed, it's so good. And I read the book from cover to cover, and I never do that. There's an author's note at the end. I was on the train and I had finished it. It was packed. I couldn't get another book out of my bag. So I just ended up reading the author's note. And like Jodi Picoult, she does a lot of research. She interviewed white supremacists. She interviewed many people of color. She interviewed people that were in like nurses, like she interviewed so many people to get to this book, and she admitted that she had wanted to write a book about racism, but she just didn't know how for so long. I respect that because like there's always a lot of talk about how she's white, like we're not shy. Like she's a white author and she knows that. She says, I'm a white woman. I know that. And so sometimes when white authors write characters of color, they either lean into stereotypes or they kill them off. You know, the trope in horror in movies is that the black person always dies first. So there are stereotypes and tropes that sometimes authors lean into. And I'm not saying it's just white authors, but I'm just saying like sometimes the characters of color in books are very surface level. Jodi Picoult, like she wanted to write a book about racism, but she made all of her characters really layered, even like all of them. And she did research to do that. And I feel like this is a good, I honestly don't know what people are saying about the book, but I feel like she did a good job at layering all her characters and giving them backstory and like all of that. And even at the end of this book, there's like a short story. I even read that. Like I'm telling you, the book was 503 pages only because there's an author's note and a short story at the end. And I read that. Like I read both of those things. The crazy thing is this event that she wrote about actually happened, and so then she's decided to make a whole story about it. I feel like she does a good job at like she does a lot of research, and I appreciate that. I don't feel like she leaned into stereotypes. I feel like she showed different sides of different coins of Black culture. I feel like she showed different signs of white culture that I don't even know about. You know what I mean? So like she had to do research, because there's pockets of culture that she's not involved in. Clearly Jodi Picoult is not a white supremacist. So like she had to go into that and interview people that were doing that. And like, so she did so much research on this to write this book. And I feel like that is the tale of like a good author. Like they want to do as much research and they're open to listening. And it's just, I just thought, to write a book like this as like a white person, I can't imagine. That's probably really touchy subject and really hard, but she didn't shy away from anything. And she even says in the author's note that like this book even helped her understand her own biases. And I just thought that was really interesting that she's even like laying out all of her flaws, which I thought was really insightful. And yeah, I think the book is really heavy, but I think it's like really good. It's obviously a touchy subject because race in America is always a touchy subject, but I think this is a very important book. And one of the blurbs does say like her most important work, and it was written in 2016. I just started 19 Minutes. I'm literally like 3 pages in. That book was written in 2006, I think, or maybe 2007. But the first chapter is 2007, which is the year I graduated high school. And this takes place, I'm pretty sure like the characters are high schoolers. I realized that Jodi Picoult, she talks about big issues, but also there's always like a judge court component. I like that. And that's why I like her books. I like when there's like court scenes and whatnot. So it's 'cause it's like crime, almost like, it's like her books are fiction mixed with, I don't know, literary fiction mixed with like crime drama, court drama. I don't know. It's, they're really good. So I started 19 Minutes, and this will be my 5th book by her, because I've read The Pact, My Sister's Keeper. I feel like My Sister's Keeper is like the most well-known book by her because they made a movie. And I feel like when you tell people, oh, I'm reading Jodi Picoult, like someone saw my book the other day and was like, oh, is that the book? Is that the same author as the one who writes like, It Ends With Us? And I'm like, hell no. No. I was telling my friend, I was like, oh no, she wrote My Sister's Keeper. And then he was like, ah, okay. So I feel like My Sister's Keeper is the most notable work by her, only because there's a movie out. But My Sister's Keeper is probably my least favorite book by her as of what I've read now. I really enjoyed The Pact when I was younger. I read that when I was very young, and My Sister's Keeper. And then I read recently Spark of Light, Small Great Things. I really liked A Spark of Light. I didn't like the timeline of Spark of Light though. Something with time, I clearly have issues. Small Great Things was fantastic. 19 Minutes, we shall see. We shall see. I just started it last night. I got it from the library because I don't own any of her books, which is a little bit crazy, but literally on page, I said I would remember. That's the sad thing. I'm like, I'll remember what page I'm on. Oh, 13. Lucky number 13. I remember saying that. I don't think I told you what 19 Minutes is about. I don't like to read synopses, but I'm pretty sure this is about a school shooting, maybe? Definitely says act of violence. Sterling is an ordinary New Hampshire town where nothing ever happens until the day its complacency is shattered by an act of violence. Josie, the daughter of the judge sitting on the case, should be the state's best witness, but she can't remember what happened before her very own eyes, or can she? As the trial progresses, fault lines between the high school and the adult community begin to show, destroying the closest of friendships and families. 19 Minutes asks what it means to be different in our society, who has the right to judge someone else, and whether anyone is ever really who they seem to be. So I don't know. I'm assuming it's about a school shooting. I thought it was, but we'll see. Oh my God, it's Monday. Happy Monday. Today we're doing Movie Monday. My first movie starts at 12. It's 9:42, so I need to start working out. The first movie I'm watching is AI Doc. Crazy, I know. But all of us, not all of us, me, I need to figure out if it's pro or against. I'm interested. Any doc, I'm interested. So I'm watching AI Doc. I'm gonna watch Surat, which was Spain's entry into this past year's Oscars. And then Stand By Me. I've never seen Stand By Me, and it's the 40-year anniversary. And also Forbidden Fruit. So it's gonna be a long day. Long day of movies. Yesterday I went to a freaking Devils game. Who would have thunk it? It was random. I know my friend loves the Devils, and he was like, do you want to go? I said, yeah, why not? I like sporting events, mainly baseball, but I like going to hockey games. It's fun. So Movie Monday, and first we work out, but then we go see the movies, and I will continue reading my book, 19 Minutes. That's where I'm at today. Happy Monday. I'm home. I always say that, I'm home. It's literally my favorite part of the day. But I went skating tonight and that was so fun. I feel like it's been a couple days since I've like updated anything on this, but I went skating at like an actual skating rink because I purchased blades like earlier, like, well, last year, and because I wanted to blade around my neighborhood, but my neighborhood is so like bumpy, like it's not as fun. But I went to a rink, or I guess, yeah, a rink, a skating rink, a roller rink, and it was so fun. It was like classic R&B and hip hop night, and it was really, really fun. That is a workout. Like, that is a workout. My whole body hurts right now so bad. Like, I got home, I took a shower because I was like, okay, I need some warmness on my limbs because my body hurts so bad. And I'm saying that as someone who like works out pretty consistently. Like, I just do weights, but this was cardio and this like worked my whole body. It worked parts of my body that I feel like I have not worked in a long time. But I was like, wow, this is a great workout and I want to go again so bad. It felt so freeing. I haven't really been going out a lot lately because I feel like my energy has been spent a lot on other things in my life, and so when it's like time to go out and have fun, I just like do not have enough energy to do that. I took the day off from work and I was determined to go because I have blades and I was like, I need to put these to use, and I'm so happy I went. Like, I'm genuinely like, that was a great decision because I've said no to a lot of things lately, and not that I feel bad, but like, because there's a lot happening in my personal life, and so in my like home life, obviously with my mother, so like I said, the energy is just like not there. But I'm trying because I have to like do things for myself too, and so going skating tonight was like the best thing that I could have done. Like, it was so great. And just like the vibe, the energy, the music, the people, like it was just so fun. And I really, really want to go back. Like, I was thinking when I was there, I was like, this is something I would come to alone, and which is crazy because I mean, I go to things alone all the time, but to go like I've been to concerts alone, but to go to like a skating rink alone, I mean, I feel like I would do that, and I'm considering it heavily, going alone again like this week. That's how much I enjoyed it. I felt really free. It was really interesting. It was very, very interesting feeling like that. Like, you feel the air and like you're just skating, and it was I don't know, if you can't tell, I was in heaven. There was parts where I was like, oh, like it was so great. I also need to update you guys on my book, 19 minutes, because I am now currently, okay, so I'm on page 212. This book is so big, and honestly, it's 455 pages. The font is so small. Not that I'm bored, but I just feel like there's a lot of filler in this book, and I feel like this book could be 100 pages less. Like, I'm already like, okay, are we gonna get to the trial? Are we, like, I understand that we're like trying to put pieces together as far as like seeing Peter before this happened, and seeing like the town before this happened, and seeing like Josie before this happened, like everyone, how the relationships formed and all that. And I understand that, but like, we're taking a little bit too long. Like, let's just get to it. And while I love her books, like I am enjoying it, but it's like I need to get, like, it feels, some of the stuff that they're saying, I'm like, okay, this is irrelevant. This is irrelevant right now. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like she's almost trying to do a little bit too much. Like, she's trying to give a story to like all of the characters, and I'm like, we don't need to do that. Just focus on a couple main characters, and that's okay. Like, that's okay. There's a lot of filler, and I want to get through this book. It's taking me so long to get through this book, but I'm gonna try and read some more tonight before I fall asleep. I took my magnesium, so I'm probably gonna be asleep pretty soon. I can't wait to go to sleep because I'm so sore. But tomorrow I go back to work. I need to see the drama like this weekend. So if I don't see it tomorrow, which most likely I won't because I need to go to the grocery store, I will be seeing it Sunday or Monday, most likely Sunday, because I don't want to wait till Monday. And I get off early on Sunday. So I'm like, okay, Sunday after work could be the perfect time to go and see it. I probably am gonna come back when I finish the book or when I have like 100 pages left, because like I said, this is kind of a slog. I don't hate it. I like her writing, but this is taking me way too long. I have spent the whole day trying to finish this book, 19 minutes. I am on page 439 out of 455. I am so close to being done, and we are basically up to the night or the day of the events that happened. And I feel like this book was so much longer than it needed to be. We finally, like in the last, it took us almost more than 350 pages to get to the trial. The trial is what I wanted, and it took us so long to get there, but we're finally there, and I feel like we're finally on our last witness. And I don't want to say who the witness is, but I feel like this is like the most important witness that we're gonna have, because I just feel like they're hiding something that we don't know, and I feel like it's gonna change everything. So I'm finally up to that point, and let's finish this book. This book took me way longer than I wanted it to take me, but I'm finally done with 19 minutes, which means I can end this vlog. I feel like this vlog has been going for weeks because I was reading Jodi Picoult books, and this one took me so long, but I finally finished 19 minutes. This is my third book by her in a row, I think. I read The Spark of Light. I might have read one in between that, and then I read Small Great Things, which was my favorite. And Spark of Light was really good too, but Small Great Things I think was my favorite, then A Spark of Light, and then 19 minutes, which is crazy because I know people love 19 minutes. And I don't know the rating yet. I haven't decided on a rating yet. I think the main thing about this book is like, there's so much going on. Like, you get the POV of Peter and Alex and Josie and Patrick. So it's like you get the point of view of the actual person that did the damage, Peter, and then you get the point of view of Josie, who was like, has a history with Peter, and also then also is like, she is Alex's daughter. Alex is the judge on the case, and that's a whole separate storyline in and of itself. And then you get Patrick, who's like the detective. You get some point of views from him, and then you get some point of views from like just like Peter's mom and dad, and it's just so many characters, so many points of view. And it's basically a story about how this school shooting essentially like not ruined this town, but like how it affected this like small town and this high school and this group of people. And I thought it was going to be mainly like the court case, which is what I wanted, because there's always some court element in these Jodi Picoult books, I've noticed, and I actually really like reading that, I've realized. So I need to start reading more courtroom dramas. That's what I've decided. I was really intrigued by the story because I read David, I don't even know his name, David Gran, is that his name? David Cullen. I'm looking up here at my books. David Cullen's book about Columbine and this idea or this like thing about America and school shootings and how we have way too many happening. I'm glad that we got the point of view of Peter, because he has been bullied like his entire life by these jocks, and it's really also a story about accepting people and like how people are different, obviously, and you need to accept your differences. And in high school, we all know that like a lot of and we see it in the movies, the jocks, the freaks, the nerds, like all of the like different, which I hate the whole idea of like freaks and all that, like that show Freaks and Geeks, and like there's always just different like groups of people and the athletes and all of that. And when I think about high school, like my high school, like maybe we did have that, but like I was an athlete, but I didn't really feel like, oh, I was an athlete. Does that make sense? Like a lot of the people that I went to high school with went to middle school together also. So I actually didn't really know anybody, which is why I got into running, because I didn't know anybody. So I started doing that before I started high school. And so that helped me meet people. But I don't know how that happened. My mom took me somehow, but it was great. It was great being an athlete in high school. So like I didn't feel like there was like a divide. Maybe there was. Maybe I just wasn't in that world. But you can tell like in this world that they live in, like there is a stark divide between people that are like on the marginalized edges and the people that are like popular and the jocks, and people that have trouble going back and forth. So you have Peter on one side, who is pretty much outcasted, which sucks because he's just not, he doesn't fall into what they call it, like he doesn't fall into like the stereotypes of like the jock or whatever, and they call him all these kind of derogatory names about referencing his sexuality, which is like, and it's interesting because this book is also written in 2007, which I graduated high school in 2007. So I was in high school when this happened. I wonder if I would have had a different reaction if I read it in high school, when I was actually in high school when this book happened. Then you get like, there's Matt and like Courtney, and they're like Drew, and they're like the popular kids, and they literally torment Peter. Like they literally torment him every day, all day, from kindergarten through high school. And I can't imagine what that does to someone's psyche, because like imagine you have to go to school and you have to like deal with that shit. And I know people deal with that shit, and like it's horrible. It's just really hard to read about that. And then you have Josie. Josie's an interesting character because this book was very much a character study. Josie's an interesting character because she is originally friends with Peter. So she's originally friends with him and when they're kids, but then there's something in her brain that clicks when she gets a little bit older, and she says to herself, if I keep hanging out with Peter, I will become a social pariah, and that is how they will treat me. She does not want to be treated like that, so she stops hanging out with Peter and starts hanging out with Matt and the popular kids. But it's all a fucking act. Like it's all, you could tell she does not like the way that they treat Peter. I also think the way she treats Peter, at sometimes I'm like, girl, you're just as bad as them. So it was just such an interesting story. I love Jodi Picoult's writing. Like it's so immersive and so in depth, and I like being like in her world. She always has really hard-hitting, tough subjects. This is my 5th book I've read by her, and I'm gonna keep reading more. She's coming out with a new one, and that one's about 9/11. I feel like she picks the wildest topics, the most hard-hitting topics, and just gives you this like amazing story, and I can't wait. But this one, I liked it, but again, I felt like it was a little bit too long. I wanted more courtroom drama versus like, you know, we're getting a lot of backstory. And to me, the payoff for some of the characters was not, I wasn't satisfied by the payoff for some of the characters. Just, you know, trigger warnings for violence, bullying, abuse. Yeah, there's a lot of, and I think the thing about Josie's character, her character was very layered, and I almost wish we had a book about her and her alone, because her ending, I was like, oh, we could have it, like we get snippets of like what's happening to her alongside what's like happening to Peter, and how she's kind of like in this life with Matt, and it's maybe not all it's cracked up to be. And I found Josie's character very interesting because she's just trying to survive as much as Peter's trying to survive. They obviously go about it in different ways, but they're both trying to survive and trying to do what they can to survive. And it's just really sad, the outcomes of these things. So if you like Jodi Picoult, might as well read it. You know, if you all of her books have tough subjects, so if you want something that's like very much drama and like very much like deep and hard hitting and heavy, read a Jodi Picoult book. Like, she'll get you, you know. I'm going to end this vlog here. This vlog has been very long and end here. So thank you for watching. If you watched all the way to the end, I don't know when this vlog will be up, but thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I'll see you next time.